When you get to the point where you need to add new yarn, all you'll do is take this out. I prefer to pull the yarn from the center, so I kind of reached my fingers in, just pulled out. I got a big glob out, but that's okay. And find the end. There are a lot of ways that you can join the yarn. I will show you like a couple real quick. One way that's really simple if you don't want to deal with knots and you don't have a tapestry needle. Let me zoom in so you can see this better. Okay, this is a yarn coming from the loom. This is the new yarn. If you don't have a tapestry needle and you're kind of in a hurry, one thing you can do is cross the yarn over like this, and then just work it like that. You want to have at least 3 pegs on each side of the double strands of yarn, and then your ends you can weave in or you can snip off. That's one way to do it. Another way is called a magic knot, which you can look up. There are tons of YouTube videos. That is one. I haven't mastered yet. I've tried it and it looks really nice. It gives you a very flat knot. You can just take and do like a box knot. I'm not a fan of knots though, because they tend to loosen over time and come out. And with something like a shawl or a blanket, or really for any project, I'm not a fan of knots unless it's absolutely necessary. But what I'm going to show you right now is called a Russian join. So you take your tapestry needle. If you have trouble getting your yarn through the eye of the tapestry needle, you flip it over and do that. And then see, it goes through pretty easy. Now what we need to do is we are joining the yarn. So this is the new yarn. We are hooking to it. You place it. There we go. Just sit the new yarn on top of the old yarn to where it is, we're going to catch it in this join. There we go. And now, I don't need much of a tail. There we go. What we're going to do is you're going to kind of untwist this so you can see the individual plies. And this yarn's really cool. I really like the way they plied it. But all you do is you untwist it, kind of get through the plies. Hold on. Untwist it a lot. And then as you kind of let it twist back up, you pick up the plies and you just run your needle down through the center of it. See, I'm kind of untwisting them a little bit because it opens it up, and I can just put the needle right down through the middle. If you untwist it too much, you just let go and let it twist back. You want to get a lot on the needle. This is something that's better to go a little overboard than to not get enough. The more plies there are, actually the easier this is to do. With like a 2-ply, it wants to unravel. So this, I actually haven't even counted. I'm not even sure how many plies this is, but each ply, I believe each individual ply is a 2-ply. It looks like 4-ply maybe. Anyway, okay, so, oh, sorry. I got a bunch on the needle here. Get my camera to focus on it. This is my new yarn pulled through here, and I've got a little bit coming through the eye of the needle. At this point, you just take and pull all this off here, and you pull your tail through. I kind of pull on it to tighten it up to make sure it's up where it needs to be, and then you stretch it out. cut off the tail. That side is done. See, it goes down pretty far. Now we can do this side, which we don't need that much hanging out, which I'll work it with you. You thread, there we go, thread the tapestry needle. Now we don't have to, the second side's easier because we don't have to deal with the extra yarn because it's already hooked in really good. So I'm going to untwist it, put the tapestry needle through, kind of let it twist around the needle. I'm just lightly untwisting it as I'm going down through. There's not a set number that you go, or amount, like a set number of inches or stitches or anything like that. You just go down as far as you want. The farther you go down, typically, the better the results. There we go. See, that's a good bit. So I'm just going to pull all that off. When it's done, this is what the join looks like. There is no knot. There's no, it's just slightly thicker because you got both the strands wove together. But the way it's wove together, it actually gives a lot smoother finish than the way I showed you to overlap the yarn like this and then knit with it. But that's kind of like a shortcut if you don't have a tapestry needle, or if you're doing a project where you're constantly changing colors and it would take you more time to do your rush and join than it would to just do the row that you're supposed to be doing anyway. But once this is done, you just go right about and work. If some of the edge pops out in the fabric, that's perfectly fine. It happens. You can actually just take your scissors, snips, whatever you use, and just trim it real close down to the fabric. Typically, you'll get, see, just a little bit here, kind of unraveled. But the sooner you can get it into the fabric and get it worked, the better.